The topic of this video is building linear models from verbal descriptions. Let's look at a problem. Suppose that the quantity supplied S and quantity demanded D of t-shirts at a concert are given by the following functions where P equals price. S of P equals negative 300 plus 50p. D of P equals 960 minus 55p. All right, so this is clearly a problem from economics, and there's an economics definition that we need in order to solve this problem. The price for which supply equals demand is called the equilibrium point. So I've written sort of a shorthand version of that definition here in the upper right-hand corner. At equilibrium, demand equals supply. Okay, here we go. Part A. Find the equilibrium price and quantity. Well, the moment you see equilibrium, the first thing you should think is demand equals supply. So we're going to write that down. Demand equals supply. In this problem, demand is represented by the function d of p, and supply is represented by the function s of p. And we know what each one of those things is equal to. D of p is equal to 960 minus 55p, and s of p is equal to negative 300 plus 50p. So now all we have to do is solve this for p. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to pick up these terms here and move them to this side so that all of our p terms are on the right. And we're going to pick up this person and move them over here so that all of our number terms are on the left. So then we're going to have 960 plus 300 is equal to 55p plus 50p. All right, now we can combine our likes together. So this is the number 1,260 is equal to 105p. Divide both sides by 105. And what do we get? 12 equals p. All right, so we've now found the equilibrium price. The equilibrium price is $12. If you want to know the equilibrium quantity, all you have to do is plug into one of the functions. And it doesn't matter which function you plug into because at equilibrium, the supply and demand are equal. So you can take $12 and put it in for both of these p's here, and you'll get the demand. Or you can put it at the $12 for both of these p's here, and you will get the supply, and you're going to get the same value either way. So for example, the supply is equal to negative 300 plus 50 times 12. Or if you prefer, the demand is equal to 960 minus 55 times 12. So this is negative 300 plus 600, which is 300. So the number of t-shirts supplied is 300. This is 960 minus 660, which is equal to 300. The number of t-shirts demanded is 300. So this is a good economic situation. The demand for t-shirts is 300. There are a total of 300 t-shirts that people want to buy. And the total number of shirts available for purchase is 300. Demand equals supply, which means we're at equilibrium. Okay, so there we go. We've now answered part A. The first question, the equilibrium price, P equals $12. And the second question, the equilibrium quantity is 300 t-shirts. We now move on to part B. Determine the prices for which demand is less than supply. Well, the good news here is that we've already done all of the hard work. For part A, equilibrium, demand equals supply. But for part B, demand is less than supply. So really, the only thing we have to do is just change our symbol in between. Instead of demand equals supply, what we want instead is demand is less than supply. So I'm just going to change all of these equal signs to is less than. All of the algebra remains exactly the same. And the only thing I have to be careful of is I have to check to see, did I do any multiplying or dividing by a negative, because that would flip my sign. And I can see that I did not do that. I divided by a positive here. So I get my final result, which is that 12 has to be less than P. Now, the p's on the wrong side here, so in order to get a final answer that we can actually interpret effectively, we really should swap the two sides. So we'll put the p over here, the 12 over here, and then we'll have to write it this way. So what we learn is that if the price is greater than 12, then demand will be less than supply. Now, this makes sense if you think about it. Let's talk logically about this. We noticed that in part A, that if the price was $12, then the supply and the demand were equal. 300 shirts wanted to be purchased, 300 shirts were available for purchase. But what happens to the demand for a product if the price goes up? The demand goes down. So that's what we see here. The moment the price goes higher than $12, then the demand goes down, and therefore the demand will be less than the supply. Okay, so that is the part A and part B of this problem. We'll do part C in our next video.